Sometimes people think a bishop swans around in purple, sort of, being glorious or living on a different planet. It's all spirituality stuff. It's not. It's deeply earthed in communities and with people. And I would say sometimes bishops are better connected to the grassroots than many politicians because we have people everywhere and they tell their stories. Well, every day is different for a bishop, and for example, today I began in my house, my offices, with 25 clergy coming for breakfast and for a meeting. That was between 8 and 11. I then leave my staff to clear up and came over to Bradford for an awards ceremony for a school in Bradford. I then go on to another meeting. This evening I'm in a parish. Every day is different, and it involves a lot of public facing. Well, I engage with the media because people have their perceptions of reality shaped by the media, for good and for ill. And it seems to me that if you want to engage, if you want to listen to the conversations out there, you've got to be involved in the media.
Can happen simply makes the point that when you go out in the morning, anything can happen. And as Lewis discovered in Monaco, we can't control everything all of the time. The best laid plans and all that. I mean, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I know what I'm talking about.
I've been doing radio broadcasting for a very long time, starting with local broadcasting and then national on Radio 2. But I do the Chris Evans show regularly on Radio 2, which is the biggest audience of a radio programme in Europe. And I do Radio 4 as well, the Today programme, and they're the regulars.
Even for the faithful, there are no promises other than that whatever the world throws at us, we will not be abandoned. So anything can happen and anything can happen.
When I left Bradford University as a linguist, I was offered a job abroad, translating in Germany, where I'd worked previously. And it was very tempting, but I was just about to get married and my wife didn't speak German and she just graduated as a nurse. We decided it wasn't a good place to start married life, and I went to GCHQ instead with German and French as my degree, but then retrained in Russian. And I was intrigued. I mean, I just thought it was a government department. In those days, we didn't know what it did. And so I'd gone through all the exams, the interviews, and I'd worked there for 9 months before I discovered what it was all about. It was the early 80s, so it was the height of the Cold War, and I was doing Soviet military intelligence. I was working as part of that sort of world in which you get an engagement with the real underbelly of world politics and the military and so on. So if I tell you anything else, I'll have to shoot you. Well, I think Bradford was very important for me, and I began to realise that there was a creative element to me that I'd never really realised. If you'd said to me, can you write, can you broadcast, can you do this, I'd have said no. Other people are good at that, I'm not. But I think it opened up a world that began to shape me later, really when I was at GCHQ. The world expanded. And I think the really important thing about university, and particularly for me and Bradford, was that it expanded my worldview. It's supposed to hit your mind, transform your mind, university. And when you hear people say, well, when I left university, I wasn't any different from when I came, then it was an utter waste of time. And I changed, I think, quite significantly. I remember failing badly at interpreting stuff that we had to do in an interpreting laboratory at the time. I was never a natural linguist. Some people were. I just had to work hard, and I always felt a bit hopeless at it. I remember used to play football five-a-side regularly for modern languages, and beating the engineers, which we did regularly, was always fun because they thought we were wusses, and we thought they, drank too much. Bradford is a unique place. The demographic mix. Bradford is on the way up as well. It's turned a corner. Economically, it's becoming more interesting. It's a fascinating place to live, and the university is at the heart of it. This is a place to be. If you just want to stick your head in a book, you could go anywhere. But if you want to make the best of the environment that the university is set in. Bradford is fantastic, and the best curry houses in Britain.